Hey guys, how's it going? Dudey, Rhino here. I'm here with Loz. Now, you may have seen on the channel, we've done ghost stories with Jack, mate. We've done conspiracy theories with yourself. Yep. So it seems natural to throw in a little bit of true crime, as well as the fact that you guys have been asking for some true crime videos. And I must admit, like probably the majority of the population of the UK, certainly, and America, fascinated with serial killers. I don't know if you are yourself, Loz.
Oh, I like TV shows that go through, like, not serial killers per se, but just true crime, I think, in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it from a like psychological standpoint. You know, when you see these horrific crimes and things, and just think how on earth another human being can do such a thing. So I thought if we're going to do a true crime video, I'll do a little bit of research, and I may as well start with one of the most horrific serial killers that has ever walked this earth, which is Edmund Kemper. I don't know if you've heard about this guy. 6'9", absolutely fucking enormous moustache, quite a notable gentleman. Been a few documentaries on him, certainly some interviews. He's depicted in Mindhunter. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yeah. Apparently, he was the inspiration behind Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket!
You know, the fucking, it washes its skin or else it gets the hose again, and all that shit. But yeah, nasty motherfucker, right? Serial killer Edmund Kemper murdered 6 young women in Santa Cruz, California area, and several members of his own family. Born on December 18th, 1948 in Burbank, California, Edmund Kemper at age 15 killed both his grandparents to see what it felt like.
Oh my god. That is like already
fucked.
That's like majorly fucked.
Let's kill my grandparents to see what it... The problem with that is there's no coming back from that.
No,
like, if it is like, oh, I see what it feels like, if it felt like shit, which, I mean, he went on to kill 8 more people, so I somehow don't think it felt like shit to him. But if it did, what do you do then? You've killed your fucking grandparents.
I mean, also, like, why did he kill both? Why did you plan to kill both if you just wanted to know what it felt like?
I have no idea, but we will go into more detail on that grandparents killing in just a little while. It's just a synopsis, just to start, right? Upon release, he drifted, picking up and releasing female hitchhikers, but he soon stopped letting them go, killing 6 young women in the Santa Cruz, California area in the 1970s. In 1973, he killed his mother and her friend before turning himself in. Would just like to add, when it says he killed his mother, he didn't just kill his mother, he decapitated her and then had sex with her throat hole.
The trachea.
That's the larynx, trachea, I should know this, but it was 3 years ago. All my knowledge from my degrees faded. Anatomy, it's just gone. It's just gone. He fucked her throat, Lozzie. But let's try and, I was going to say understand, but troubled childhood. Edmund Kemper was born on, like we say, December 18th, 1948 in Burbank, blah, blah, blah. After his parents' divorce in 1957, he moved with his mother and 2 sisters to Montana. Kemper had a difficult relationship with his alcoholic mother, as she was very critical of him, and he blamed her for all of his problems. When he was 10 years old, she forced him to live in the basement away from his sisters, whom she feared he might harm in some way. So there's clearly signs, even at the age of fucking 10, that he's a little bastard, right? Signs of trouble began to emerge early. Kemper had a dark fantasy life, sometimes dreaming about killing his mother. He cut off the heads of his sister's dolls and even coerced the girls into playing a game he called Gas Chamber, in which he had them blindfolded and led them to a chair where he pretended to writhe in agony until he died. His first victims were the family cats. I love cats, mate. That saddens me. Like, this is where I'm a bit of a twat, right? Because obviously he murdered a lot of people and that is sad. You start fucking with cats, mate. Can't handle it. Don't know if you saw on the... oh no, it's not been released yet. Fuck. We filmed this like 6 weeks ago. Jack, get on this, please. We did a murderers a little bit of an Easter egg here. We did a murderers podcast, right?
Yeah.
And it is coming out. It was a very good one. Really enjoyed it. Jack brought some like modern day like serial killers to us. Right. Anyway, there's one where this guy's hiding in a basement, and the woman's cat is down there like hissing at him. And I was just like, Jack had told stories of like loads of people getting murdered. Right. And I was just saying, stop, if you're about to tell me this fucker is about to kill that cat, I'm out. Like, I can't handle it, mate. Jesus. Do you know what I mean? I just love cats. Anyway, that's a little tangent for you, but look forward to that on the Happy Hour podcast. At 10, oh, the fucking bastard. At 10, he buried one of them alive. And the second, 13-year-old Kemper slaughtered with a knife.
What cats?
The 2 cats. He went to live with his father for a time, but ended up back with his mother, who decided to send the troubled teenager to live with his paternal grandparents in North Fork, California. Let's revisit the grandparents' murder. Kemper hated living on his grandparents' farm. Before going to North Fork, he had already begun learning about firearms, but his grandparents took away his rifle after he killed several birds and other small animals. All these signs, man! On August 27th, 1964, Kemper finally turned his building rage on his grandparents. The 15-year-old shot his grandmother in the kitchen after an argument, and when his grandfather returned home, Kemper went outside and shot him by his car and then hid the body. Afterwards, he called his mother, who told him to call the police and tell them what happened. Later, Kemper would say that he shot his grandmother to see what it felt like. He added that he had killed his grandfather so that the man wouldn't have to find out that his wife had been murdered. So there's, in the most fucked up way, a little bit of compassion in
tiny bit of compassion.
Sick fuck. Yeah. For his crimes, Kemper was handed over to the California Youth Authority. He underwent a variety of tests which determined that he had a very high IQ, but also suffered from paranoid schizophrenia. Kemper was eventually sent to Atascadero State Hospital, a maximum security facility for mentally ill convicts. In 1969, Kemper was released at the age of 21, despite his prison doctor's recommendation that he not live with his mother because of her past abuse and his psychological issues involving her. He rejoined her in Santa Cruz, California, where she had moved after ending her third marriage to take a job with the University of California. Whilst there, Kemper attended community college for a time and worked a variety of jobs, eventually finding employment with the Department of Transportation in 1971. Kemper had applied to become a state trooper, but he was rejected because of his size. He weighed around 300 pounds and was 6 feet 9 inches tall. This guy is fucking enormous, right? Which led to his nickname, Big Ed. However, he did hang around some of the Santa Cruz police officers. One gave him a training school badge and handcuffs, while another let him borrow a gun. According to Whoever Fights Monsters by Robert K. Ressler and Tom Sharkman, Kemper even had a car that resembled a police cruiser. The same year, he began working for the highway department. Kemper was hit by a car whilst outside on his motorcycle. His arm was badly injured and he received $15,000 settlement in a civil suit he filed against the car driver. Unable to work, Kemper turned his mind towards other pursuits. He noticed a large number of young women hitchhiking in the area. In the new car he bought with some of his settlement money, Kemper began storing the tools he thought he might need to fulfill his murderous desires, including a gun, a knife, and handcuffs. The Coed Killer, which is what he was eventually named. At first, Kemper picked up a female hitchhiker and let them go. However, when he offered a ride to 2 Fresno State students, Mary Ann Pesk, I apologise if I butcher these names, and Anita Luchessa, they would never make it to their destination. Their families reported them missing soon thereafter, but nothing would be known of their fates until August 15th, when a female head was discovered in the woods near Santa Cruz and was later identified as Pesh's. Luchessa's remains, however, were never found. Kemper would later explain that he stabbed and strangled Pesh before stabbing Luchessa as well. After the murders, he brought the bodies back to his apartment and removed their heads and hands. Kemper also reportedly engaged in sexual activity with their corpses. We've got a necrophiliac on our hands, Loz.
What is necrophiliac? Is just when they're like drugged out, isn't it?
Nah, necrophilia is fucking a dead corpse.
Oh, okay then, fair.
Yeah.
Not saying that's fair.
No, I know what you mean, yeah. That's fair. That is the definition. Yeah. Sick. But then this is a man that fucked his corpse mother's throat. You know. Later that year, on September 14th, 1972, Kemper picked up a 15-year-old, Aiko Ku, who had decided to hitchhike rather than wait for the bus and take her to a dance class. She would meet the same fate as Pesch and Luchessa. In January 1973, Kemper continued to act on his murderous impulses, picking up hitchhiker Cindy Shaw, whom he shot and killed. While his mother was out, Kemper went to her home and hid Shaw's body in his room. He dismembered her corpse there the following day and threw the parts into the ocean. Several parts were later discovered when they washed up on the shore. He buried her head in his mother's backyard. That's just, I mean, it's just... I would never hitchhike. Ever. Would you?
Not unless they absolutely had to.
It just, well, yeah. But it just seems so fucking unsafe. It's unreal. I mean, this was also obviously in the 70s. You got no mobile phones or anything like that. You know, nowhere to be like, can you come pick me up, please? Yeah. So, alright, but fucking hell. Also, he slept in his room with a fucking corpse. On February the 5th, 1973, Kemper used a campus parking sticker his mother had given him to facilitate a double murder. He drove to the university where he offered a ride to two students, Rosalind Thorpe and Alice Liu. Shortly after picking them up, he shot the two young women, then drove past the campus security at the gates with the two mortally wounded women in his car. After the murders, Kemper decapitated his two victims and further dismembered the bodies, removed the bullets from their heads and disposed of their parts in different locations. In March, some of Thorpe's and Liu's remains were discovered by hitchhikers near Highway 1 in San Mateo County. He's not even like trying.
No.
Like, I think he's very like just digging a fucking very small hole and throwing, like, you know, because all these corpses are being found. At the time of Kemper's murder, two of the other serial killers, John Linley Fraser and Herbert Mullins, were also perpetrating their own crimes in the area. So they had 3 serial killers simultaneously in Santa Cruz.
And people are still accepting hitchhikers.
That's it. Why would you go? Yeah. Well, it's 3 serial killers. But yeah, feel free to hitchhike. Fucking hell.
Okay.
It resulted in Santa Cruz receiving the ignominious, great word, ignominious nickname, the murder capital of the world in the press. For Kemper's part, he was dubbed the Coed Killer and the Coed Butcher. His mother's murder. In April 1973, Kemper committed what would be his last 2 murders. On Good Friday, he went to his mother's home, where the two had an unpleasant exchange. Kemper attacked his mother after she went to sleep, first striking her in the head with a hammer, and then cutting her throat with a knife, as he had with his other victims. He then decapitated her and cut off her hand, but then also removed her larynx and put it down the garbage disposal. After hiding his mother's body parts, Kemper called his mother's friend Sally Hallett and invited her over to the house. Kemper strangled Hallett shortly after she arrived and hid her body in the closet. This doesn't say anything. Yeah, it doesn't. Right. Yeah, he had sex with, yeah, as we've discussed, he had sex with his mother's throat. They've kept this out of this for some reason. I mean, you're talking about a serial killer, so I don't really see the need to keep it PG. Kemper fled the area the next day, driving east until he reached Pueblo, Colorado, where on April 23rd he made a call to the Santa Cruz police to confess his crimes. At first they did not believe that the guy they knew as Big Ed was a killer, but during subsequent interrogations he would lead them to all the evidence they needed to prove that he was in fact the infamous Coed Killer. Trial and imprisonment. Charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder, Kemper went on trial for his crimes in October 1973. He was found guilty of all charges in early November. This is insane, you ready? When asked by the judge what he thought his punishment should be, Kemper said that he should be tortured to death. He instead received 8 concurrent life sentences. At present, Kemper is still serving his time at California Medical Facility in Vacaville. I just want to quickly check, is he still alive? He's still alive.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, so he's not dead. So he's still in prison. Yeah, so he's killed 10 people, his mother included, defiled, shall we say, her body. Yeah, thoughts on Edmund Kemper, mate?
a true bastard.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
the most bastardous person I've ever fucking heard described.
Mate, that's it. I mean, what intrigues me the most about serial killers is, as a kid growing up, you're always sort of like told about the monster under the bed and the monster in your cupboard, and like monsters being these like fucking, you know, animalistic, like looking, like, you know, whatever, you know, Loch Ness monster or fucking Bigfoot or whatever. But actually, they're people, and that is fucking terrifying. Like, the chances are that in your lifetime you walk past a murderer, it's probably not as low as you think. You know, fucking mental. But yeah, did you enjoy that, Loz? A little bit true crime for you. I like true crime, and that was very intriguing. Yeah. To the point of where I was like, a lot of the things it's disgusting in there were rank. Yeah, without a doubt. Guys, you know the drill by now. 1,000 likes and it's a series, right? So let us know how you feel about it. Comment down below any suggestions for future serial killers and true crime you want us to talk about, if it becomes a series, of course. And let us know if you got to the end of this video, because it always helps us out. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I like the serious edge, because obviously it'd be disrespectful to make lots of fucking jokes about a man that murdered and raped a load of women. So that's not going to happen on this series. But sometimes it's nice to be serious about things. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. I've enjoyed making this. Lozzie, thank you for joining me as always. No problem. Yeah, that's, if you want to support us, Patreon down below, all the merch and that. This man's got his own channel now as well. Lozzie, go and subscribe. But also, obviously, subscribe to this one if you haven't already somehow. Yeah, like, share and subscribe. Sweet one, geese.